Welcome to my channel. You may call me Moz. Leo Dongqing is very misunderstood. Most discussions surrounding this character usually end up something like this. They will say that low gear Dongqing would lose and say that high gear Dongqing wins, without stating any evidence or any reasoning. Besides indicating lazy writing on account of short attention spans, including myself, it highlights that most people cannot figure out what makes Dongqing at his peak so strong. In this video, I'll try my best to make the distinction clear to y'all, while also correcting my previous mistakes. Leo Dongqing is a prodigy of striking. He can easily stand his ground against physically superior opponents like Tokuno Tokumichi. To his own credit, the novelist also possesses heavy strikes. However, Dongqing was able to block, parry, and counter his blows with ease. This speaks to his talent as far as his striking is concerned. Leo's finishers come in the form of Fodzin. A powerful yet simple technique, Fodzin is a method for transmitting power to vital regions of the body. However, Fodzin, for all it's worth, is very predictable. Therefore, an opponent who has experienced it before can easily counter it. Leo also possesses two miscellaneous techniques used for defensive purposes. Hodgin is a technique which enables Leo to disperse the power of his opponent's blows. It's similar to the grand old technique of limpness, or becoming like water. On the other hand, Dongqing can stabilize himself with horse stance to prevent straightforward tackles. With this brief introduction out of the way, we need to establish the difference between Leo's finishers and his regular strikes. Only Leo's Fodzin has the Fodzin quality. His other strikes do not. The idea that all of his blows share this quality isn't supported by any statements nor any of his feats. Furthermore, this conclusion can be made based on his fight against Tokuno. In the beginning of the match, Tokuno ate up two Fodzins without getting knocked down, while Leo's other blows that were not Fodzin forced him back or caused him to step down. Even in the final exchange, Tokuno was caught off guard because Leo didn't use a Fodzin, meaning that the final kick that pushed Tokuno off stage was just a regular kick. This goes to show that Leo's strikes possess more of a punch than Fodzin. However, this is due to the nature of Fodzin as a whole and how well Tokuno could deal with it. If it weren't for Tokuno's endurance or his manipulation of vitals, Fodzin would have had more of an effect. Therefore, Leo's regular blows should be taken seriously, something I failed to do in my analysis. Next up is something which I inflated in self-importance in said analysis. Hodgin is a technique which diverts power, but generally speaking, it operates much like the limp technique because it protects Leo from oncoming damage, but requires perfect timing. For example, at the beginning of his match with Tokuno, Leo's timing against his uppercut was inappropriate, giving us one of the funniest panels in the entire series. However, a more quintessential example is provided by his final exchange with Tokuno, where Leo defended against a Russian hook by using Hodgin. Since he was stable enough to throw his match-ending kick, the power of Tokuno's blow was neutralized. Although my definition for this technique was correct, this technique can only be used to its fullest in a purgatory setting, especially in tandem with the 10-second knockdown system. Therefore, in a no-rules environment, Leo may still defend himself against blows and throws, but he will not receive the precious 10 seconds to mentally recover. So this technique loses a bit of value, especially against grapplers. Another mistake I made was overestimating this technique's importance in determining the true power of Leo's peak. Let's now discuss his gears. Leo Dongqing is very bipolar. He experiences frequent mood swings, and his performance as an A-list gladiator suffers because of it. Prior to his match, Leo was still in the midst of an episode due to the death of Knight on Monkbot. Furthermore, Leo divulges his goal of exterminating Ryuki, indicating that his judgment is still clouded by vengeance. Therefore, before a single blow was thrown, Leo was never interested in defeating Tokuno. This is the reason why Leo opens up the match with his finishing move. He wants to defeat Tokuno ASAP. However, Leo's intent immediately backfires because Tokuno could handle it. In this scenario, Leo made a poor decision. Instead of trying to analyze his opponent on a more fundamental level, Leo goes straight to throwing the coup de grace without any understanding of his opponent, which, by all accounts, is a poor strategy because it didn't work. Furthermore, Leo's unrefined use of his finishing move puts him into more danger. For example, after being pushed back by Leo's normal blows, Netoku was able to predict Leo's Fodzin because it was telegraphed. Therefore, Leo's impatience, which caused him to use Fodzin in an irresponsible manner, prevents him from exploiting the fruits of his own labor. Therefore, Leo failed to use his strongest technique in an appropriate manner. This is the sole reason why Leo, in such a state, is considered a bad fighter. Now, let's discuss his peak. Leo has exhibited his peak performance against two opponents, Nadan Monkbot and Tokuno Tokomichi. Leo defeated Nadan off-screen, whereas his fight with Tokuno had far more detail. So, I'll be focusing more of my attention on that fight in particular. After receiving his third knockdown on account of Tokuno's Sambo, Leo experienced a hallucination. Although it's proof that Leo took a substantial amount of damage, his hallucination helped him clear his mind of vengeance and forced him back to reality. The second he stood back up to continue the match, Leo had already entered his peak. Instead of relying solely on Fodzin, Leo assailed his opponent with his regular blows. When Netoku broke his rust with sheer brute force, Leo was able to counter Netoku's follow-up tackle by using horse stance, then continuing his rust like usual. When Netoku attempted the same tackle again, Leo was able to predict it and launched a named technique from outside of Tokuno's awareness. Besides providing us with parallel structure from the previous exchange, Leo, in his peak, sealed away his Fodzin in favor of his regular blows and other striking techniques. Even so, recognizing that brute force will not work like before, Netoku waits for Leo's follow-up and delivers a more skillful knockdown. Following his successful submission, Netoku locks up an armbar, breaking Leo's stride and his arm. However, Netoku pulled this move while half-conscious, providing Leo the opportunity to break himself out of Tokuno's submission and throw one final Fodzin from a position where Netoku cannot sift his body. Compared to his previous Fodzin, this one was the most appropriate use of the technique. Now that we have assembled all of the factors that are relevant to Leo Dongqing, let's piece together the difference. In both iterations of the character, Leo utilizes the same techniques. However, the true difference lies in the execution. where low gear Leo will simply use a technique, high gear Leo will use it in a more decisive manner. Because, as a wise simp once said, mastering a powerful technique is not nearly enough. Using the right technique at the right time, that is the pinnacle of martial arts. Although Leo is nowhere near as experienced as Kuroki Ginsei, Leo has proven against Tokuno that he can use powerful techniques in a more productive fashion. So the real difference lies in finesse. Although the peaks and valleys of Leo's performance conjures up comparisons with Hatsumi Sen, it's more in line with Oma's amnesia. Oma uncovered a lot of powerful and useful techniques hidden deep within his psyche, but his accuracy was trash, his movements were telegraphed, and his Nico style was repetitive. But after regaining his memories, Oma remembered how to apply his techniques in a more meaningful manner. The same goes for Leo. When he isn't interested in winning a match, his movements become telegraphed and his fighting style deteriorates. But when he strives for victory, Leo begins to use his techniques more efficiently and becomes quite the menace. Thank you for watching. The reason why I haven't uploaded in a while is that school started, and unlike before, I took some very hard classes. Although that's merely an excuse to be lazy, it just means that I'll be spending more time making scripts. But since we have seen what the Tiger Vessel is capable of, please be sure to stay tuned for his video. Until next time, this has been the Cyborg Whale named after Italian cheese and a dessert item. Goodbye.